What's going on, Brodies? Today I bring you another reaction video. I'm gonna be reacting to SiahSpeaks again. This video is titled "Everything's Gonna Be Alright," in quotation marks, of course. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Hello, humans. So this video was originally recorded while I was live, but there was like 3 different parts.
Okay.
And I had ended up not wanting to put those parts together, and I was about to redo the whole vid because for one, I really couldn't focus all like that because I was on stream.
Yeah.
And 2, again, I just didn't feel like going into the editor and software and putting those damn clips together because I kept starting the clip and then ending it and then like start yapping again. And
I think my browser kind of glitched out right there. I don't know why.
Press record and
my main PCB kind of tripping.
I would end up like yapping again for like 40 more
so my
seconds.
bad on that.
And press, y'all get it. But basically, this is what I want to talk about with y'all, man. I can't stand it when people say just keep your head up or something like that when you're going through something, right? Like the fact that people are just so selfish and dismissive when it comes to like emotional support. Like people always say, oh, well, if you ever need anything, bro, I got you. But right when you actually need some emotional support, you hit them.
And that's crazy, bro. Because normally when it's a scenario like that, I don't even like saying things like that. Like, oh, it's gonna be all right. You know, it's gonna be okay, man. Just, hey, bro, today was a bad day. Just let's try again. Because number one, when you say things like that to a person that's going through it, all right, the number one thing you don't want to do when you're trying to help somebody out, whether it's, you know, emotional, like, you know, like you said, emotional support. Number one thing you don't want to do is say something that has already been said thousands and thousands and thousands of times. And that typical, just like the title, oh yeah, everything's gonna be all right. Like, it's gonna be okay, man. You know, yeah, I got you. You know, I got you if you really need me. And then, you know, when the person actually does need you and they're like, well, hey, could you like, you know, could we like talk for a little bit or whatever? And then next thing you know, the person's like, well, I'm kind of busy. I'm sorry, honey, I'm busy. But didn't you say like yesterday that you was gonna be there for the person? And you know what I mean? Like, you're telling me you can't, like, you're already talking to the person, right? You're already messaging them. They send you a message back. You're gonna leave them on red? You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? So normally how I go about it, I tell the person that, hey, I'm willing to be here for you if you need to talk, if you need me to listen, you know what I'm saying? You know, anything that I can do and that I'm cool with doing, you know, I'll do it to help you. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it to help you, you know, feel better or whatever. So normally when I see that somebody's down, I'll try to, like, you know, chit chat with them. Just like, you know, one of my main things I tell y'all that I tend to do that makes me happy, make people laugh and all that. I normally try to make them laugh, you know. It just depends on their mood, because most of the time when it's a scenario like that, you can't really just, you know, joke around and do stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like, the person to notice, like, yeah, I see, like I see you're trying to make me laugh, but it's just, you know, it's just not the moment, right? You know, it's just not the time, because they just, you know, they're just very, very sad. So I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty tough, especially for me, because I'm trying to think of things that I can say, you know, to make the person feel better. Normally I tend to just give people their time, but when I know it's a scenario where it's like, one of my friends, they're really, really upset, and it's getting to the point where it's like they can't even get anything done. When it's something like that, I'm like, bro, like, let me talk to you. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see what's going on, what's on your mind. Because for me personally, when I get into a very, very deep, sadness, one of the ways I normally tend to get out of that is by conversating with folks. And sometimes, I'm not even going to say sometimes, most of the time, I normally just, self-reflect on myself, right? I kind of just think about how everything's going, and that normally helps out a lot too. I tend to listen to music. That helps relieve, some of that sadness away. And like I said, talking to your friends, family, all of that can also help you out as well. Talking to somebody that is very understanding, that is willing to work with you, that it's not gonna like, you tell them something and then they're like, they're trying to just basically let you blend into them. You know what I mean? Somebody that's willing to look at your options and try to help you, better them, versus somebody that's looking at them and they're like, oh, well, here's my option. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's like I said, one of the main things you don't want to do when it comes to, trying to help somebody out that is very upset or sad is to say the obvious, right? Well, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be okay. That's not, no, you know what I mean? That's nobody really wants to hear that, or for the most part, nobody wants to hear, oh, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right, because for them, it's like, when, you know what I mean? When you say something like that, it's like, for me, I'm like, when is that gonna happen? Because it's been a week. For some folks, it's been a week. It's been a few days. It's been a month. It's been years, right? When is it gonna be okay? Right? The main thing they're trying to figure out is why, right? Why am I feeling this way? Which they know. And I mean, typically when it comes to that, you know why. It's just, how am I going to get over this obstacle, right? How am I going to get back to my usual self without just always just feeling like this? And one of the best ways of doing it, other than just self-reflection, meditating, listening to music, there's a lot of things you can do. Being productive is normally one of the best things to do, because it allows you to get your mind off of said things, right? So I normally tend to do that a little bit here and there. But yeah, for the most part, that, and being able to just express yourself towards somebody that you can trust and that is very, very reliable, that always tends to get that always tends to get it done. Even though it's hard for folks to do that nowadays, because like I said, everybody has a different scenario. You have folks that have done that and then they just get backstabbed, right? They decide to express their feelings only to realize that the person that they told it to didn't really care like they said they did. Couldn't really trust them. They lied instead. So it's like, yeah, trust issues. It's a thing. A lot of people have it. And, if you're dealing with that on top of somebody having a bad day, it's gonna take some time. And honestly, that's normally what I tell folks. It's gonna take time. I'm not gonna say, hey, you're gonna be better immediately. No, it's gonna take time. But in everything in doing time, things do eventually get better. Whether you believe that or not, that is up to you. But I just know, because I've been there, not in their predicament. You get what I'm saying? I've been upset. I've been sad, depressed, whatever you want to call it. I've been through the ringer a few times, and despite that, you know, I'm still here, and I'm doing way much better than what I was back in those times, right? So, yeah.
With a whole bunch of shit, and then it's just like, damn. And then the generic cliche copy and paste shit that everybody says. Keep your head up. Fucking grass is always greener on the other side type shit. It get greater later. It always gets better. And yeah, that's about it, man. You know, like.
And another thing, like, people do that instead of actually trying to, like, sympathize with the person, you know? Be like, all right, well, I know that this must have been really, really tough for you. I can't even imagine, you know, like, because when somebody's going through it and they're telling you everything, you gotta be like it's almost like an interview. You know what I mean? You gotta interview them so that you can really get to the root of whatever it is that they're feeling. You know, you gotta ask questions. You know, you gotta be a very good listener. Like, well, why? Okay, I see this and that happen. How did that make you feel? You know, what makes you think that, you know, it's just this? Or, you know, asking questions not only just, you know, signals to the other person that you're actually listening and that you may have some care in the world, right? It also allows them to kind of just open up more and more and more, which is why, you know, my best advice on that, like I said from before, you know, honestly, just listen to what the person has to say and just pay attention to the details. You know what I mean? If you feel like you need to ask questions about it to get a better understanding, do so. But it's like, you know, this is your friend, family, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, the best thing you could do is just be there for them, and not just half-ass it where you're like, oh yeah, they drop a whole movie on you and you're like, well, yeah, things to get better type shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not even trying to be funny here, but people would literally just be like that. They drop a whole paragraph and they only drop like 3 to 4 words, and then it's just silence. Like, nah. It's like every time one of my friends or even family have gotten like very, very upset, you know, just having a bad day, I always just be there. That's number one. I be there. Number two, I conversate with them if they're willing to conversate. I always tell them, like, hey, if you need to talk about said things, I'm here, right? You can tell me anything, you know? You can trust me. And, you know, I mean, that's when it comes to everybody, yeah, you can most definitely trust me. I'm a very trustworthy person. I like to keep things real, just like Siah Speaks. Just like I said from the last reaction, that's why I like watching him. He gives his opinions on things, you know that he's not gonna back down from telling his, you know, truth. You feel me? Very authentic.
Y'all know what I'm talking about? Just like shit like that. And then they would say shit like it gets better, and then how do they actually know if it actually gets better or not? Now, I know I might say that and people might think in my comments like, well, bro, you know, people can't tell the future. I'm not saying you can, nigga. All I'm saying is,
that's common sense. You can't tell the future.
We have like an authentic conversation with each other, like a genuine conversation. If you actually give a fuck.
Yeah, if you care, you're willing to have that conversation. It don't matter how long it be. Y'all can have a conversation for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. You know what I mean? It's like when I'm talking to my friends, there be plenty of times where we have these deep conversations, and it's not like people are upset or, you know what I mean? It's not like we're upset or whatever. We're just talking about life. And I'm telling you, time will literally go past, especially if you're talking to me and we conversating. But I'm telling you, a whole hour, 2 hours, 3 hours pass by, and then we look at the clock. We're like, damn, it's like 4 in the morning. It's like 4 in the morning. Like, I gotta get some sleep. I'm like, dang, we really been just, you know, chatting it up. And then, you know, at that point, it kind of gets a little bit, you know, a little bit of silence. It get a little bit out. You're like, oh, you know, we're still trying to. That realization is still kind of trying to catch up to us. But it's like, yeah, if you care, then why aren't you willing to have a actual conversation? I'm not telling you gotta carry it, but you could at the bare minimum try to at least talk to your friend, family, whoever it is. Okay, I'm not expecting you to be able to say all the right words, because you're just not gonna be able to say everything, you know what I mean? You're not gonna be able to think of all the right words to say, you know. But at the same time, you being there and showing that you know what I'm saying, conversating shows to that person that, okay, this guy actually cares about whatever I'm going through, because 9 times out of 10, you know, especially for like us, some of us guys, you know, we don't really even talk about anything that's going on in our lives, because it's like, you know, just being a man, right? You just, you know, like we don't cry, you know what I'm saying? That's how they normally be like, nah, men don't cry. You ain't supposed to cry, bro. You supposed to be strong. You supposed to be intelligent. You supposed to be able to do everything in the house. You feel me? But it's like even us men, you know, we have our times. And normally when we do, you know, for me, it's normally just a self-reflection thing. And if it's really, I guess, that bad, then, you know, I'll talk about it, maybe. But, you know, if somebody asks me, like, yeah, I don't mind sharing. You feel me? Because I normally do that. Sometimes folks ask me, oh, how are you doing? How are you doing? Are you okay? And I don't lie to them. I don't. Because that's another thing. I'll be checking up on folks occasionally. I'm not saying every day, maybe every other day, you know, like weekly, I'll check, you know. I'll be like, hey, you doing good? They're like, yeah, I'm doing all right. Are you sure? Hey, I'm like, are you sure? Because I know it's so easy to just be like, yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. It's you know, it's very easy to do that. To just put on a face for like 1 second and be like, yeah, I'm having an amazing day. And then you just go back. You know what I mean? That's why I normally ask again. And if they're like, yeah, I'm doing good, I'm like, all right. Okay. But it's like I'm just keeping things noted, because like, you know, I'm told folks plenty of times, whether I'm live or maybe even when it comes to YouTube, I just don't like seeing people down. I don't, because I know how that is. So, you know, my thing when it comes to content creation in life is to, you know, make sure that everybody's just, you know, happy, enjoying themselves in life, and, you know, continue to do what they do, you know, go for their dreams, whatever it is. You got it. You most definitely got it. I ain't trying to preach or anything. I know it may be sounding like that every time I be, you know, doing my yapatry over here, but that's just how I normally be. But it's like, yeah, you know, that's one thing. If you know, showing signs that shows that you care about a person, checking on them occasionally, willing to have conversations with them, right? You know, being able to have, you know, sympathy over them, right? They tell you something, if it reminds you of something that you've gone through, or if it is like on the same page, you know, then I'll be like, all right, well, you know, I've gone through that too. And then I'll talk about what I've been through, right? And then I tell them, well, here's the things that helped me out. I'm not really expecting it to help you out, but I'm just saying, these are the things that worked for me. I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing. And I feel like, you know, if you're not doing that, you should probably do that. You should honestly check on your friends occasionally and see how they're doing, you know? You really should, because like I said, you never know when, you never know. You know what I'm saying? And then when you do know, it's too late. So you just don't want to ever have those moments, because for me, I feel like I've had that too many times, which is why I'm just so like urgent to just be, you know what I'm saying? Just be so urgent, be so spot on with things like that. Cause it's like, I don't know how many times I can really say it, but I really do care. Whether it's a friend, family, you know, even somebody that I don't know. Cause at the end of the day, we're all humans, right? Nobody's perfect. We're just trying to live life. You know what I mean? We're trying to get through life. We're trying to live it. Why not, you know, why not help each other out so that at the end of the day, we can all just have fun and enjoy what we do the most. Feel me?
Pray that they do, but no, they only put in like the bare minimum. That's why I was just telling my stream, it's basically like putting a band-aid over like a leaking wound. You feel me? It's just something quick to say real quick. Yep. So
it's like putting a band-aid. It's like putting a band-aid. It's like putting a band-aid over it's like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. You know what I'm saying? On a fracture. That's not gonna help it at all. And that's what I be saying. Folks will literally do that and they'll be like, it's okay. You know, that honestly reminds me, like, you be at school, you'd be like, I have a headache. Oh, here, we'll give you an ice bag. Oh man, I think I twist my spine. Yeah, here, we're gonna give you an ice bag. Every time something was up, I'm bleeding. Nah, here you go, ice bag. Like, it's literally like that. Anytime something's up, something's wrong, yeah, we're just gonna give you an ice bag. Instead of actually giving you what you need the most, right? It's tough.
It would make it seem like you put in the effort, so the person that you're trying to comfort doesn't cut you the fuck off. You feel me? I'm getting so sick of these copy and paste, keep your heads up and shit.
Keep
like,
your head
why
up.
not, if you, again, for the second time, if you actually cared, like how you said you cared, have like a genuine, authentic conversation with me. And then figure out what the hell, like let's dig deep into the root of the problem type shit. And then you give me actual advice after.
Yeah, you give advice. If it's something that you have experienced as well, you give your experiences. You know, again, this is a person that you care about, right? Right? It's not like it's a person that you don't really care about or you have nothing to do with, right? And then I understand that. But nah. It's somebody that you care about and you're doing the least amount of work. You're doing just the requirements. You're not doing over the requirements. You get what I'm saying? They're doing the main quests, but they're not doing the side quests. If this is a person you care about, you know what I mean? Why ain't you doing the main and side quests and DLC? You know what I mean? That's crazy to me. And then, yeah, the other thing I was about to say when he's like, yeah, people just, you know, people be saying, oh, I care. It's just like when it comes to relationships, people, you have your girl, you have your man, they'll swear up and down, hands to the gods. Oh, I love you so much. I love you. I love you. You keep on hearing that day in and day out. They'll tell you that every day, right? They'll tell you that every day. But they can't make an everyday effort to actually have a conversation with you, to actually try to get to the root of the problem instead of just shoving it away, right? And it's just it's so crazy, bro. That's why when it comes to that word, I don't even like just spam it. I don't even like saying it because people do it. They'll say they love you. Oh, I care about you. But the actions that they do, right, it never leads up to that. So now you're just sitting here and you're having to be your own judge on whether or not this person really gives a fuck. And it's like, if you have to question yourself on that, you already know. If it's a 50-50, you're already falling on the end of, yeah, this person probably doesn't care. When is the last time they messaged me? You look, it's been a week ago. When is the last time they called me? It's been 3 months ago. You know, you give them a benefit of the doubt. Okay, well, maybe she's been working. Maybe he's been, just maybe he just got a brand new job or something. And then you holler at them. You decide to holler at them. Not to mention, this is probably like your 4th or 5th time doing that, right? You're always reaching your hand towards them. But when it comes to needing a hand, there's not even a hand to be found, right? There's nobody there. Crazy. I know y'all are like, where are you pulling this from? Low key, I'm low key talking about me, and I've dealt with a lot of people like that. So, it is what it is. But I've dealt with folks like that, and it's not a good feeling, especially when you're down and you really, you know what I'm saying? That's a person that you trust the most, and you realize it's just pointless, right? They don't care. And that's normally what just stings the most. That's normally what stings the most, is despite them not caring, for some forsaken reason, you still have a care in the world about them. Despite all the things they've done. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's pretty wild, man. But yeah, it's like, if you care about a person, just to kind of sum all that up, if you care about a person, you love the person, then you need to back it up with actions. Whether it's conversating, whether it's being there whenever you need to be there, whenever you don't even need to be there, you're there, right? Because that's what I'm saying. Somebody shouldn't have to keep on reaching their hand out to you just for you to be like, oh, okay, yeah, here you go. Nah. If you care, you're doing that without them asking. You're checking on folks without them having to check on you. You know? These are things that are just natural. You know? It's a natural thing to do.
Hearing me, what you think I should do, instead of just giving me the copy and paste.
And that's really what it is. The copy paste bill.
Basically like,
people do it all the time.
Somebody calls your phone while you're driving on the highway, and you can't talk right now, so you press the automated "sorry, I can't talk right now" message. You feel what I'm saying? That's like
and that's what I'm saying. You acting, the Brodies acting like, oh, well, I'm driving, so I can't answer the phone. All it takes is 1 second to answer the phone. That's all it takes. If you already got the phone in your hand, and instead of accepting the call, you just decline it. When you can accept the call, put it on speaker, put your phone down, boom, you can drive. Well, they're probably not gonna be able to hear me because I'm on the highway. Well, talk louder then, buddy. You got your windows all, you know what I mean? It's not like you got your windows out. And if you do, pull up your windows. Talk. I'm pretty sure your partner, friend, family is not gonna mind you having some, car noises in the background. Who cares about that? They're trying to talk to you. They can easily zone that out. You know?
That's like my dude get cheated on or something by his girlfriend, and then he come to me crying and shit, drinking, drunk, and I look at him and I'll be like, oh, well, there's more fish in the sea. Better luck next time. Like,
yeah, what? You just go to him. Well, yeah, she was a bit anyway. Like, what? Like, is this really my friend, or is this dude just plotting on my downfall? Like, what are we doing? Yeah, I mean, bruh, come on, man. Bro, you can pull another one of her, knowing damn well you can't. It's only one of everybody, bruh. Like, hello? I'm telling you, bro. I tell people all the time, you gotta pay attention to the small details, because I'm telling you, the small details be the biggest ones out of the damn pond, bro. They be the biggest ones out of the water. You won't even be able to pull them, bro. I'm telling you.
Just,
Those be the biggest ones, man.
It might seem like a lot less. It might seem more softer than that, but it still gives, to me, it still gives off the same energy, bro.
Yeah.
Like, don't just say the same shit that everybody else says and expect me to believe that you actually genuinely.
Yeah, and then you top a whole paragraph. That's crazy. Yo, that's wild, bro. That's wild. Damn, man. It'll be all right, bro. It'll be all right. And then they just disconnect. It'll be all right, bro. It'll be, damn, bro. That's crazy, man. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. You got this, man. I see you. Like, really?
Well, fuck. No, the only reason why people say that, again, is because they don't want the person that they're trying to comfort to get mad and block them or cut them the fuck off and call them out on their complete lazy, dismissive lack of emotional support.
Yeah, lack of emotional support. Honestly. It's like, bro. And that's the thing. Somebody come to me and they tell me some things. I'm going to tell them what's on my mind about it. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, I tell people this all the time. Like, I'm going to keep things real with you. But at the end of the day, I'm not trying to hurt your fucking feelings. I'm not here to do that shit. You get what I'm saying? I'm not here to try to upset you or plot on your downfall. That's not me at all. I'm telling you, you know, what I think, how I feel about the situation or whatever. And if I do upset you, right? It's your job to tell me, right? I mean, there's a lot of times where I know if I'm about to say something that's not really too, you know, friendly, I normally be like, hey, like, I'm not trying to hurt your feelings or anything. I don't really think you should go with this, right? But it's like, at the end of the day, it's your goal to let me know how you feel. Cause I can't tell, bro. I'm be honest. I got pretty good intuition. I'm not gonna lie. My intuition is pretty dang good. But then again, that's just based off of just pure, just educated guess, conclusions, whatever you want to call it, right? It's just purely just off of a guess. I'm not going to be able to guess and pinpoint everything every single time. That's not gonna happen. So when it comes to it, that's why I tell people, you gotta let me know how you feel, man. Right? I understand you may feel, I can't trust you, this and that. But you can. You most definitely can. And normally when folks be like that, I'd be like, okay, well, since you don't trust me, name one time that I've, you know, lied to you, or name something. You know, name a time I lied to you, or just, you know, just right off the bat, what is it that makes you feel that way about me? Is it something that I can actually do something about? You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to, and that's the main thing when it comes to these stuff, these, you know, scenarios. If you really care about a person, you're trying to literally get to the root of the problem. It's literally as simple as that. You're trying to get to the root of the problem. You're trying to figure out who in the hell is making my friend, fam, or this person just overall just upset. What is it? You know? How can I make this person just feel better and be back to, you know, just regular programming? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I ain't even gonna lie, sometimes it be like that. I ain't even gonna lie, sometimes I be mad too. I be mad. I be upset too sometimes, because I'm like, damn. Like, I want to find the answer. You know what I mean? I want to find that one why, so that the person can just get back to feeling better. You know, they can start to recover.
My nigga. That just, I don't know. Like, that had just, it's not really going to be a full rant for real. That has just always pissed me off, man. Like, I never understood why people won't actually, if you actually care and love for that person, even just a little bit, like, why not put in the work?
Yeah, why not put in some type of effort?
When you tell somebody, okay, whatever you need, bro, I got you. okay, whatever they need, you should have them, right? If not, then why say it? That's why I'm so straight up and direct with the shit that I say, even though people always tell me like, oh, well, you shouldn't say this at this certain times, and there's a time and a place to say this. Well, I understand that, obvious shit like that. But I don't know, man. That's why I always just say, just to keep it a stack, because you could fuck yourself up lying and shit, man. It's just pointless to do. That, man, this is like really a rant on top of a rant, bro. Like that goes straight to liars and shit. Like people that just lie and cap about themselves all the time and they're just not themselves. Like they're just living in a fucking lie.
Yeah. And be honest, when it comes to folks like that, I honestly despise folks like that the most. You know? Because I remember back then when I was a kid. I used to try to fit in with everybody else because I saw that and I thought of it as a good thing, right? Because everybody would fit in with each other. Everybody was happy, laughing, you know, just having a good time. Right? I was also, you know, I was being myself too. Don't get me wrong. But it's like the minute I got up into middle school, I was doing the same thing. I got transferred into a school. All right. I had to go and do something, so I just came back. I know for y'all it'd be like instant, but yeah, I don't even know what I was talking about. But so let's just
living as an actor the entire lives, and I don't. How do you just go your entire life just lying about some shit, and then you lie so much that you get caught up in your fucking lies?
Yeah. That's what it was. I was talking about back then. Pretty much, I'm gonna just keep it short. I know that's impossible for me, right? My yappetry is just, man. They know no limits, bro. It's like bison. But pretty much, elementary, you know, vibing with folks, kind of, you know, getting into what they be into, right? In terms of, you know, talking, conversating, kind of picking up. Everybody's chilling, but it's like I try to do the same thing because that's like one of the ways that, you know, you connect with your friends, right? You may, you know, one of your friends may have a slogan that or a phrase. That's really what it is. You know, one of your friends may have a phrase that, you know, everybody just tends to say. You know what I mean? Small things like that kind of, you know, strengthens the friendship or relationship, you know, whatever the case may be. I try to do the same thing. You know, middle school, 6th grade, I get transferred to a whole nother school. It's like I try to do that and people just looked at me like crazy, you know, like I'm trying to be cool, you know, just being myself. And people look and they're like, oh man, yeah, I see. He's trying to butt in with all the cool kids and da 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 da, you know, which is crazy. And it's like, you know, you got that, and you got students talking. I literally told a student about how back then, which I guess I will bring that up because that also, you know, but I remember back then, like kindergarten, I thought I had flunked it, right? Crazy. So I told him that. Because it was like, oh, well, you're like a year older than us or whatever. But what really happened, I remember I went back and I talked to my mom about it. Because I didn't necessarily remember it. You know, that's like when I was like a kid. So, you know, I went back and talked to her about it. And she was like, nah, that you didn't flunk or anything like that. It wasn't that. It was that I was in a private school, right? So I was in a private school, and eventually one of those years I basically got out of the private school because the folks that was there wasn't really helping me out. I would like to believe that them folks over there was kind of Ray Ray. You know, if you catch my drift. I don't think you can say the word on when it comes to YouTube. So we gotta, you know what I'm saying? We just call it Ray Ray. But yeah, you know, I still remember those times. Like, there will be plenty of times I have my hand up throughout the whole class. Right? I have my hand up throughout the whole class, asking for help, things of that sort. Like, teachers would look, they wouldn't do anything, they wouldn't say anything, they wouldn't try to help me out with my work. And you know, it's like I knew, you know, the assignments, I knew how to do them and stuff, but in terms of like talking, I struggled with that a lot. Now I know that may be hard to believe because, you know, listen to me now, right? I still be buffering and be, you know, tripping over words and all that, but it's not as bad as it used to be back then. I didn't really even talk that much back then when I was a kid. I used to just like be humming to like Mega Man tunes and shit. So I didn't really talk that much. I would always just, you know, sometimes I'll talk, but I didn't really talk for real in kindergarten. I'd just be just jamming, just humming the tunes to like Mega Man jams and shit. But anyway, I told them about that, and they really, I mean, obviously they took what I said, and then they told their friends. They're like, oh yeah, apparently he flunked kindergarten, da 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 da. Like the next day, I'm in gym, like you know, we're in our gym class, and gym in that school, we'll just literally, because the YMCA was right next to the school, so we'll just pull up, we'll literally walk to the YMCA, and that's where we'll like play basketball or whatever. That little outside area, like for track field, you got a basketball court, you know. And it's like, while I'm outside, I hear somebody, you know, I hear the person that I told, you know, my story to, and she's conversating to the other chick. And it's like, as I'm walking by, like I'm walking back into the YMCA, she's like, oh yeah, that's the dude that flunked. She was like, that's the dude that flunked kindergarten, da da da. And they both just started chuckling. Obviously that, I ain't gonna lie, that triggered me. I ain't gonna cop. That had me pissed. That had me pissed off. So it's like the minute she said that, I was like, nah, that's actually not what happened. I didn't flunk. I was in a private school and da da da. Right? I was like, nah, I didn't flunk actually. I was in a private school, and she was like, oh, like you know, if you were to see her face, she was like, whoa. So I'm not even gonna lie, I said that shit with my fucking chest. I said that shit with my chest, and when I did, she was like, oh, and her friend was like, oh, they were like shocked as fuck, because I guess they didn't think I heard them or whatever. But like the minute they said that shit, I said what I had to say, and they're like, oh, and they didn't say nothing else after that. They kind of just walked away or whatever. And I was still pissed off, because I'm like, okay, so I tell you something, I'm thinking you're just gonna keep it to yourself or whatever. Not only, I'm like, okay, not only you didn't keep it to yourself, you decided to tell one of your friends, and then you decided to make a mockery out of what I told y'all, right? And I'm just talking, you know what I mean? Somebody asked me a question, I'm just talking to you because I'm, you know, I'm cool with everybody, right? But it's like, that's just one of the examples. But, you know, throughout that school year, I had a bunch of scenarios like that. And eventually, you know, I grew a backbone, right? Anytime somebody would be like that, I would literally just, you know, instead of just letting it be like, okay, I'm just gonna let them say whatever. Nah, I would give them something to actually fucking talk about. For sure. I would start talking my shit. I'm like, oh, okay, so, oh yeah, but then your friend, da da da. Is that, like, let's be honest, you know, is that the right thing to do? No. I can't really say it's the right thing to do, but at the same time, I can't really say it was the wrong thing to do for me. But that school year, you know, like I said, elementary, I didn't really have a backbone. People would do things, they'll, you know, mess with me or whatever, and I would always just shrug it off. But 6th grade, you know, a lot of things changed. I started to actually speak up for myself when it came to these moments where people would just keep on just disrespecting me over and over and over again, right? And eventually, yeah, those folks that were doing that shit, I didn't, I wouldn't say they stopped doing it, but they wouldn't do it if they were around me, because they knew that if they were to do that shit, I'd get on their ass. And obviously they didn't like when I did that, as they should. I don't like to be disrespectful, mean. You know what I mean? I'm still, even though I have a backbone, and I just don't like being like that, because I know that ain't me. That's, you know what I mean? That's not the person that I want to be. It is it's a part of me, but it's the part of me that I don't want to bring out to the world and let the world just know me for that, right? Nah. I want to do the opposite. I want to bring, joy, happiness. I want to, be able to make an environment where folks can just truly laugh, not without having to worry about, oh man, if I laugh too hard, if I laugh too, right? I want you to be able to just be you. And I always tell people that, be yourself, and it's like I said, sixth grade, if I were to tell y'all that was easily one of the worst years of a life. Honestly, there was a lot of things, that wasn't really going too well. School wasn't going too well because the environment was literally fucking ass. Just for me to go back home, things are not going so well. Things are not going so well there too. And there was, a lot of reasons for that. I'm not gonna really get into it. But if you've been watching me on Twitch for quite some time, before I started doing YouTube, you already know the whole thing. So yeah. Anyway, this is like for me to say, like, when it comes to folks that are not being themselves and that are willing to try to just make other people be like that, being disrespectful, negativity, things of that sort, I don't tolerate none of that shit. I don't. Folks like that, folks like that, let's just say, in the nicest way possible, I do not like them. All right, that's just me being on my best behavior. All right, I don't like folks like that. People like that, I just don't like them. All right, let's just
now
just
you're embarrassed, and now you look
say
stupid.
something.
I don't know, but back on track, man.
I can't even.
This basically ties into that video.
I can't even think about stuff like that, because that'll literally just, I'm telling you, that's like a whole switch, bro. I literally end up crashing out or something, or I end up saying something that's just absolutely just diabolical, inhumane even. Because it's like, when it comes to the scenarios where people are feeling upset or something is bothering them, yeah. Why? Because sometimes it's dealing with those types of people that just want to just be disrespectful and show negativity for just their own enjoyment, right? They're being, a beer to somebody else to get dopamine from it. I don't like folks like that. I don't. Because there's other ways you can get dopamine where it's actually healthy than you trying to just absolutely just make somebody's day just upside down.
That I had previously made in the past about how venting seems pointless to me, because
I remember watching that.
Vent to,
yeah,
they're going to give you that same copy and paste response.
Yeah, they're going to give you a copy paste. That's why I don't really do that either. I don't. There's only been a few times where I decided to quote unquote vent. I talk about what's going on with me, even though I tend to kind of do that on the regular. So that's why for me personally, I wouldn't call it venting. I always tend to just talk about life and shit. Especially whenever I'm streaming, I just come to a moment and I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna, I don't know. I just start talking about whatever's on my mind. And that's why I wouldn't, for me personally, I wouldn't really call it venting. Because I'm always kind of just talking about what's on my mind from time to time. That's just the way I kind of just cope in terms of the things that I'm thinking about, the things that may be bothering me, right? The things that are bothering me. But again, when it comes to venting, I've done that a few times. I've gone to somebody, my mom, you know, and then there's times where I've gone to my friends and I did that. And yeah, yeah, I've done that. And they just give some half-assed response. Well, it's gonna be all right. It'll be okay. You know, and then I'm just looking, I'm literally just looking at the invisible camera, you know? You know what I mean? I'm just looking in the invisible camera like, really? Really? What was the point of me coming to you when you didn't have anything to say? Nothing. And how much you want to bet that they'll probably go to somebody else, tell them everything that I said, and have a full-blown conversation, right? As if it's me. You feel me? And just like what I said from before, that fakery, bro, just people being fake and all that, I can't stand that. I just can't. But hey, it is what it is, man. You just gotta do what you gotta do at the end of the day. You know, it is what it is. Sometimes you really got to say that.
Let me know what y'all think about this shit in the comments. Drop the number 84 if y'all made it to the end of the video.
Hey, number 84, baby. But yeah, man. I mean, what do I have to say about the video? Honestly, very good video from SiahSpeaks. As always, if you would like to sub, you know what I'm saying, subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit the video with a like. If you made it up to this point, also, yeah, put where our keyword for the day is going. Well, is it a word? I guess, kinda. Key number of the day is gonna be 39 as well. Alright. So yeah. As always, I appreciate you Brodies for tuning in, watching, you know, giving me feedback. I really appreciate that. Alright? Here's another thing, man. Like I said, SiahSpeaks. He's one of the Brodies that I tend to watch all the time. He's on Twitch. He's on Kick in terms of streaming. And then he has his YouTube where you can holler at him. So, you know, if you would like to sub to him, I'll most definitely have his channel in the description. But just in case, you know, oh man, I can't see that. Then we go here. Alright? Then we go here, alright? Yeah, SiahSpeaks. As you see, we just reacted to a video that he had 2 days ago. I was low-key thinking about watching this one and reacting to it for y'all. I may do that. I don't know. But we'll just have to see. Alright? But hey, man. With that being said, I appreciate you, Brodies, for tuning in, watching, giving me feedback. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and shove that notification button, man. Show that notification button so you know when I'm pulling up with another video. Now, I know y'all gonna see this. You're gonna be like, oh shit, this is kind of an early upload. I may start doing this so that it doesn't really get into like my stream times. And also when it comes to that, your boy tends to stream daily as well. Alright, I tend to stream daily. I normally stream around like, I don't know, 7 p.m. and then, you know, 7 p.m. to like 10 or something like that. I like doing late streams because, you know, during that time I'm not really getting bothered as much. You know, it's peaceful, it's quiet, I can do what I do. You feel me? It's very nice. But hey, until next time, Brodies, this is IMADOODLEBOB and I am outta here.